What is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show somewhere. Tonight we're going to be talking about Kim, we're going to be talking about the event that is all around the world, but we're also going to be talking about some events taking place in the country as we speak. So we'll be right back with our latest information and information from our Foogle family, you guys. We'll be right back. All right. What is going on, guys? Making sure we've got everybody here. It looks like we are live on multiple platforms. If you've never been here before, my name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Move that to the side over there. And then again, this is a live call-in show, so anything can happen. Our number is 224-400-MARF. And again, if you are new to us, we actually have a main channel on YouTube at 155,000 subscribers, which is actually Marfoogle News. And then we have Marfoogle TV, which you are most likely watching on as well, which is at 116,000 subscribers. And then, of course, our beautiful and amazing DLive family closing in on 20,000 subscribers. So we got a lot of things to talk about today, so I will get through it real quick. If you guys want to follow along on any of the articles today, we don't just say something and, expect you to believe us. We actually get approved sources, and we get the regular news, all the stuff. We do all of the collecting and make sure it's right there. We actually do a bibliography of every single story that we put up here, and that is all on our website, marfooglenews.com. If you actually go to marfooglenews.com, you will see that it is organized by thumbnail. Again, the title may change depending on if they think it's great or not, but the thumbnail usually stays the same. Now, when you go there and click on it, you'll actually see that every single video, every single tweet, every single thing, piece of info here is going to be shared with you, and you have access to the entire thing on our website. So you'll see that this actually has every link, so you can go and finish the article. If we just hit, say, the title or the headline, and you want to go more in depth, you can actually do that yourself on our website, marfooglenews.com. Not only that, at the very bottom there will be the caller info. So if you call in with pictures, a video, a document, or some sort of archive thing, we can actually share that on the spot, and by the end of the show, that will be there available for you. Before we start, we're going to bring in Dex. Dex helps produce the show. He also does a lot of the call screening. He does a ton of stuff. Dex, are you there, and can we do a sound check?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
Of course, his greeting that you've probably done that greeting, 1,000 times? So
yeah, at least.
So obviously a lot of things are going on right now. People are stressed, and what I thought was funny is a new story came out essentially saying that Kim was stressed. This Kim, of course. We're talking about this guy. And they said that if he's alive, right, there's multiple stories, and we're going to go down all of the different paths, right? Some say that he has passed away. Some say he is in a resort with his harem of 2,000 women. Yes, that's right, 2,000 women. Apparently, this is how this guy rolls. And, of course, they have to applaud, right? So apparently they said that his health problems are caused by stress and alcohol. So I tweeted out and I said it's kind of funny that even dictators are stressed right now. With that being said, the guy is not visibly healthy. The guy is kind of, I'll leave you guys to say what you think. I don't normally say mean things, but you're talking about a guy who took out his brother with an anti-air weapon. So he's really just not a great guy in general, or his entire family. And that's really rare for somebody like me to say. So With that being said, there are some different key lines here. Before we get started, just want to make sure you guys know nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else that helps the show, including our wonderful mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. Now that that's out of the way, we can actually get started and get pumped up about this because there is a lot of, differential news here. People either feel good about it or bad. As far as Kim goes, we're going to go over this. So it says the NK defector, somebody who escaped, apparently says that he is 99% sure that Kim is now passed away. Now, Dex, I don't know what you think about this, but as far as a defector or somebody who is a civilian, I don't know if it will probably tell us here what his rank is. But again, if just a regular civilian got out of there, how would they know? You know what I mean? Like this guy, he's the ultimate supreme leader. It's kind of like if I told you, oh yeah, T-Man, Commander-in-Chief is down at the 7-Eleven. We don't know where they're at. But it says, a NK defector turned South Korea lawmaker. So this is a lawmaker. This is some guy who hasn't even been there, I guess. Friday says he is 99% sure that Kim has passed away after surgery amid swirling speculation about the dictator's condition. Ji Sung-ho, who earned a proportional representation seat of a minor party in the country's April 15th election, told Yonhap News Agency that he believes Kim has passed away after his recent surgery and that NK will announce it this weekend. So in that case, they say that his sister, Young-un, I can't remember her exact name, she would take over, which is crazy because he actually took out his brother in case something like this happened. He was worried about him essentially taking the power instead of him when his father passed away. So apparently he was worried about something happening. Maybe he was paranoid that he was going to take him out or slip something in his drink. I don't know. But he took out his brother. I guess there was some sort of argument back then. I remember I covered it pretty clearly. And then if he is gone, then that would mean at least his sisters take over. Is his sister as crazy as he is? Would she really be in charge? What's crazy about that country too is I don't know if they would see her as the same. They didn't even like when Kim took power. They thought he was too young. The leaders that were under his father, in fact, they took out many of them. He had, generals and people that were under him that he actually took out and completely, took off the planet of the Earth because they did not believe in him, right? So as far as his leaders now, will they follow this woman? Will they follow his sister? Dex, do you think that there's going to be anything just, because she might be a woman? Do you think that they're going to look at that differently in that kind of country?
Well, yeah, I mean, it certainly could be play a role here, but ultimately she seems to be the lead runner since she was, I guess, groomed for the position by him. So presumably she will, fight for it or expect it is how I would look at this. But this whole, wanted, it's like a Bon Jovi wanted song, like, dead or alive. Either way, we don't know what's going on with this guy. And it's almost like, it's like a daily who's who. I'm like, what's going on with Kim? And it's kind of crazy.
So, and then this guy has obviously defected. If he has won some sort of seat, he hasn't been there since before April 15th. He hasn't probably been there this year. So maybe it's because he has sources somewhere else that he's saying this. Again, why does this matter? Most people are saying, who cares about, Kim Jong-un? If you remember, just 2 years ago, almost every American had something in the back of their head that was scared because media was telling you, hey, these guys are just launching missiles willy-nilly. They were threatening our entire country. They were hacking huge companies like Sony. In fact, Kim was made fun of in the movie The Interview by Seth Rogen and DeFranco. And they ended up hacking Sony and threatening to like do all this kind of stuff. And they ended up not putting it out in theaters. And this is way before social distancing and all this. They genuinely took it off, and it was released via Netflix instead of in the theaters, because they were worried that, this, total nut guy was going to shoot missiles at us if we released a video that essentially made fun of him. So if he is passed away, would it take out that kind of mystery of NK? Would she negotiate with everybody if this was the case? Would she be more sane? Would she ask for everybody to kind of step down or to surrender, and then they go in and put somebody else in there? It would make sense for the U.S. or our allies to want that spot. And it makes sense that China does not want us to have that plate of land, because that is the buffer between South Korea and China. They literally have a ton of U.S. money and U.S. military in South Korea right now to actually back them up against, NK, because they have had their own conflict for decades. So again, this is a big story if he has passed. And there's even a ton more questions. Did he pass on accident, or was this some sort of operation by the highest of, operations? You're talking about NSA, CIA, the whole 9 yards, every single 3-letter agency you can imagine. If they did pull this off, somehow slipped a doctor in there, or did his sister end up doing this? Then again, there is all sorts of different things flying around. In fact, one rumor is that he may be holed up with his 2,000 woman, I don't even want to say this, pleasure squad. That's what he apparently it translates to. If Kim Jong-un is holed up in his Lux seaside hideaway in the port city of Wonsan, he may have plenty of company, a harem of 2,000 slaves, a report said Friday. The NK dictator resurrected his late grandfather's, quote, pleasure squad of secret entertainers in 2015. Is there a single person on this earth that doesn't want to just punch this guy in the gullet? Like, just right in that, and you probably wouldn't even get to the Adam's apple if he has one. I don't know why. I've always hated this guy even if I didn't know he was a dictator and starves his people, I would still want to punch him in the gullet. It says, and while the dictator's location and the state of his health remain a mystery, some reports say that he fled to a luxury resort in the port city located along the eastern side of the Korean peninsula to avoid catching the CV. I don't know about this. And the UK paper speculates that he might have his harem with him. So 2,000, how many planes, or how many, they would have to take an entire train. Why would you, and they say he's stressed because of stress and alcohol, right? No, I'm sorry. Nothing against it, but I can't imagine having, 2,000 women, period.
That's a lot of stress.
That's stress. And same goes, if you had 2,000 husbands, it would be the same thing. Who can even deal with more than one? It's within the walls of his ultra-protected palaces that his pleasure squad provides entertainment for high-ranking NK officials. The 2,000-strong harem is said to be made to sing and dance for the nation's elite, but also take part in bizarre games and orgies. I don't even like thinking about that kind of stuff. So, and it says that Kim is widely known for his love of booze and fine food. Now, what was his name? Dennis Rodman actually said that, they have all sorts of alcohols. Every alcohol you can think of, he's had flown in. There's also been a debate about some of the companies that help him get this stuff in there. That are complacent with what he's doing to his people. They get the most opulent gifts. NK has these gift buyers that go out of the country and then bring in these opulent things, and they're backed by governments. Like, governments actually give them gifts and all this other stuff. And you really think about it, you're like, why would they be doing that? It's just kind of crazy. A lot of people think that they are kind of, they've got the strings attached. But, that's your opinion. Let us know in the chat below. And then, of course, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. I heard on, I think it was Tucker. He had reported, if you remember when Kim and T-Man met at the border and they crossed over the DMZ. You remember that?
Oh yeah,
it wasn't too long ago. Okay, Kim
didn't they hold
so
hands?
Winded, just from that short little walk, he could barely breathe. That's how bad his health is, and that was a while back, so it's only getting worse.
Yeah, if you guys remember this, did they hug or was it him and Moon that like walked with their hands together, and it was meme central. There were thousands and thousands of memes that came out after this. Just look at this guy. There's something about him.
But then what gets me is you see him on the horse, right? Riding horseback, and he's galloping. And I'm thinking, if he's out of breath, like walking, 10 yards, right? Like what is he getting on a horse?
I just can't stand that guy. He reminds me of a kid that I was in 5th grade with, and he was incredibly rich and just super pompous. Like, even then I knew that the kid was just not humble whatsoever, bragged about how much money his parents had, and his name was Galen, and he just looks the same even. I think that's why I've always disliked him since I could remember, since Kim took power. And then, of course, let's see here. NK's Kim Jong-un makes first public appearance amid reports of ill condition. Dispelling rumors of his death or overthrow, NK leader Kim has appeared in public for the first time in 20 days, according to Yonhap News Agency. Kim, the 36-year-old leader of the Democratic Party People Republic of blah, 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 dispelled weeks of Western rumors that he had passed away or had been overthrown, appearing at a public ceremony on April 30th. So now, not only do all the previous stories, now people think he has a body double. People think that there is somebody that is posing as him. Is that right? That's kind of what's going on.
I haven't seen any of the pictures yet. They're saying he appeared, and they're saying that this event he appeared at was pretty mundane. It was not even a big deal, but, where's the pictures? Where's the
video of it? So where is Kim? This is kind of like Where's Waldo, only with a way better haircut. So we'll see what's going on here. As far as it seems to me that this is so much bigger than even we talk about, and people don't realize this. We are stuck in this state of kind of still accepting the fact that the entire planet shut down. Now, whether you can drive, the feeling of normalcy is because people can still technically drive across town in most places, right? I know that there's some states that are stricter than others, but you can go to the store or you can go to this place. All the places that are closed, it kind of seems like it's a Sunday in a small town. Some of these other places are closed, but you can still go to the grocery store. You can still go to some of the big chain retailers like Target. In fact, if it wasn't for Target and places like Fred Meyer, I think people would be going nuts right now because those stores have other things. Now, there's something to be said about that as well. In the states that have taken all non-essential items and banned them from being bought, so literally put up yellow tape around items like, VCRs and TVs and things like this, anything, clothes, anything not essential to you living, like food, is barred off in these states. People are going nuts because they can't just go to the store, and get out the house and go buy frilly things or go buy something stupid to use at the house. They can't even buy board games in most of these places. So say if they have kids or something like that, it would be horrendous, right? Only grocery and back. But a lot of the country can actually go drive to their friend's house, and they're getting away with, doing that and not getting caught, not getting pulled over. So that it feels almost like it's somewhat normal, or it's not that big of a deal. But then again, when people actually try to go across state lines, Then, of course, you have National Guard stop you, check you, and check your pass, those passes. So there's not a lot of state-to-state travel via car unless it's a truck driver. Now, we have truck drivers. In fact, when you call our 224400 MARF, you'll actually hear one of the options is for truck drivers to call in and tell us if they've seen anything weird in the country. The thing is those truck drivers that we have in our Foogle family, they're all over the country. They see what's really going on. They see the mobilizations. They see the things being set up. They know what's different. They drive the same routes and they go, oh, that's new. Oh, that's weird. That's why we set it up. We were getting some of the best information from our truckers, our trucking family here, which again, some of the information we've got from them is just absolutely amazing. We knew with proof that the place with all of those containers, they call them containers, those black containers by FEMA that, are essentially portable coffins. Those things are now empty in Georgia. When you drive past that, now I think the orange ones are still there that you see in the picture from Google, but the black ones are all gone. They've been shipped out. Not only that, we found out that they're not shipping them on trucks publicly or out on flatbeds. They're making sure to put them, which is logistically not efficient, inside of trucks so people can't see them. But again, we've seen pictures of them being shipped around. And, people think that that's really crazy, but it's really not. If they say the numbers are bad as they say they are, if, New York City and places like this, we just showed you a mainstream article yesterday from an approved source that said that there was actual people piling up outside of a funeral home, so much so that they found them up to 50 or 80 people stacked up in U-Haul trucks. I mean, you're talking disgusting stuff. So with that being said, and then we also read to you guys the other day, FEMA just ordered another 100,000 bags for people. So it's not something that's extremely fun to talk about, but again, it is something that is happening.
Adam.
Yeah.
We just, we keep opening things where I live here, and we just opened the mall. And I think it was like yesterday or today, it just opened. And already we now have a shooting at the mall and a car riddled with bullets.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, and not only that, they'll say, oh, it's extreme spike. They say that the numbers are going back up. They say that there's a second wave coming. Fauci says it is guaranteed. So obviously, when they said, and it's who's saying it, including the WHO, that this social distancing and other measures are probably going to last until they have a V seen. You're talking about 2021, 2022. This might be serious. What does that mean? Well, that means the end of the world we used to know. It's the end of the economy we used to know. The thing is we're in new territory. We're in a different land. Not only that, I've seen a huge difference in just recently on big platforms, including YT, that just took action against several big YouTubers, including friends of mine, Ben and Rob, over at EOW. Then, of course, Edge of Wonder. And then you've got Jordan Sather, getting hit with different things. So we're going to see a lot of stuff. This is why I'm pushing you towards this. Make sure to sign up for our Discord. Not only do we have 50 state local groups, those are sometimes broken into state smaller groups. In fact, Washington, where I am, has 6 different zones. California has multiple. These are smaller groups that actually meet weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and they talk prep. They talk about what they notice, what they're seeing, and it's really to have people that back you up. Obviously, if you can think of this scenario, you're the only one that goes into work and thinks about this stuff. You say something at the water cooler, now all of a sudden you're that crazy guy, right? Well, we don't want you to feel like that. There's a ton of people that think just like you. And most people are actually embarrassed about what they think is true or right, so they don't talk about it. And what does that do? That ends up making you bottle up all of this stuff and it's just worse for everybody. So again, you've got people that not only are like-minded, but actually appreciate the curiosity that you have. And those are called Foogle fam. Marfoogle and the Foogle family, that's not me. That is the community. And it really is amazing. People have been married out of this group. People have, now literally found lifelong friends from this. And it is, I would say, a lot different than almost any other community. There's a few out there that are like ours, and it's really, really rare, and I don't even know how we did it. So I'm really happy to have everybody we have. We have fights, we have inner workings that happen, but again, it's like at the end of the day, we are all connected now, and that's amazing. So please join our Discord. There's a creators corner. If you're a creator or a YouTuber or a D-Liver, make sure to get in there. We are closer to our main event. Again, people, I heard they said, well, we all got over to D-Live and you're not doing this. We were waiting for the GP to go through to actually get that going. Still waiting on that. We wanted to bring everybody over and do a massive event. Obviously, we weren't expecting it to take this long, considering we hit the requirements 2 months ago. So we're waiting on that. We might have good news. We don't know. Exclusive military channel for active and former military. We have almost 500 active and retired military. They are confirmed through other vets in the group. So it's a private area for you guys to go to. No one can go in there besides military. MarfoogleNews.com. You can also sign up for Marfoogle alerts. So with that being said, I'm going to head over to the chat real quick. I just want to make sure I'm seeing everybody here. If you are watching a replay, make sure to put in the comments what you think about the NK situation and what you think is really going on. I would love to hear it. We've got CJ Blaze, Aussie's Walkabout, Cynthia Reed, Gabby, Mrs. Marla Stininger. What is going on, guys? I appreciate you guys coming tonight. D-Live, Kelly2334, thank you for the diamond. Chips Are Fallen, thank you for the lemon. Luna Soul, Renegade Petey, Greatest Love. Glow Angel, Luna Soul, Serenity PA, Cutie Kitty Katrina, Just a Cat Mom, Tiger Lily, Greatest Love. Kevin Dillinger, Zippy, J-Star Orer, and I always don't know if you are J-Star Oregon. I never, either way. Thanks, Marf, Mods, and Fam. Thank you for the Ninja Genie. We highly appreciate that. April Osborne, and thank you guys, by the way, for the birthday people. My birthday has passed, so don't worry about birthday stuff. I do want to say thank you, and I super appreciate all of your guys' support during those last couple days. It goes towards the greater good of the channel, so we really do appreciate it, and thank you. Wild River Preppers, thank you for being here. Thank you for the lemon. Laura Griffith, J.K. Hathaway, thank you for the lemon. Short Giraffe, Bogstown, appreciate that. The Girl with the Brown Eyes, Pack Anna, Luna Soul, Rock for Life, Pox Party. You've been with us for a long time now, actually. I mean, it's getting up there. And then Kelly2334 again, thank you for the diamonds. And then we have on our... Whoa, okay, so I'm going to have to pop over Rihanna S. Aloha from Hawaii, and happy belated birthday. Well, thank you, Rihanna. I haven't seen you in a little bit, so thank you so much for being here. And then Dawn Mudrick, keep up the good work, Marf. Kim, back from the dead. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really a quite interesting story. Paula Matthey, thank you for subscribing. Bro Bear, Venus Hamilton, thank you guys. And then... And whoa, Zippy Moons says, hey. Thank you for the Ninja Genie. And Brian Knight, I really appreciate that. You don't have to do that. And thank you. And I was just checking out all of your channel the other day, and I actually just tweeted out one of your things. So thank you. I don't know if you saw that. Thank you so much. Brian Knight, I can't... So many people just popped in. I can't see what it says.
It's Blue Knight.
Can you read it?
Sure.
It went past
Blue
so
Knight
fast.
602 says Supreme Court after civil conflict ruled no judicial or executive officer may suspend constitutional rights, else they forfeit their office and the rest of it's cut off. Autonomy, I'm thinking.
Blue Knight, thank you for the Ninjet. That is very huge and it's very rare, and I just appreciate it. You are really part of a handful of people, Amy R., uh, Zippy Moons, and a few others that have done that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have something special for that. I like Alpha's idea. Alpha's a streamer over here, and he has a room that he visually puts you in. So like if you donate a Ninja Genie, he's got this kind of poster thing with everybody's name, and Ninja Genie's on Mars, and then Ninjet is like in some sort of cave, and he's got their names up permanently. So I thought that was cool. In fact, Goose Wayne, he actually writes them on the wall. So I thought that was pretty cool. We're going to do something for the people that are supporting, because we put that towards the channel and making it bigger and trying to expand. So I really appreciate all of your guys' help. We have a lot to fight up against. If you look at some of our friends out there, they are actually getting hit really hard right now. So please, if you hear about people getting hit, please go support them. Tweet, do whatever it takes. Paradise Pete, appreciate the info, Marf. Thank you. I appreciate that. Libra Mojo, Space Monkey. And don't worry, I did not forget about you, Rhiannon. I really do thank you. Zippy Moons, Ninja Genie and out. And then End Times. You have done, I think, more subscriptions. You and Amy R have done probably the most out of anybody. So thank you. That's really appreciated. And, all those people appreciate it too. They end up getting the Marfia badge. They also don't have the time thing on there as well. Amy R, thank you so much. And we love you too. And you know that you don't have to ever do anything. We really appreciate your support as well. Tower Bear, thank you. Stefan Diaz. Shy the Coffee got stimulus. So 3-month sub. Whoop, whoop. Reverend to the end. I love it. Well, we'll see what happens here. A lot of things are changing. A lot of people are getting really stressed out. The one thing I would say is the end result of this is we understand that, the world's not going to be the same ever again. And one thing we have to do is we really have to come together. We have to push each other up. There was just recently kind of a skiffle and scoffle in our own group of people. And some people don't realize it. With over 250,000 people out there that are part of the Foogle fam, it's really hard sometimes to understand that what Dex and I and the mods actually have to deal with is just so many things going on. We have a huge Discord. In fact, our Discord is close to our Discord could almost fill a stadium. In fact, it could fill a small stadium. We're talking about a lot of people, and those people all have different views, and we have to understand that this is not going to go back to normal. And I'm just telling you guys, from everything we hear from military and everybody else, that this is going to only get more stressful. So what we need to do is we need to learn how to handle that stress, and we need to learn how to process it. Because right now, nobody's processing this. It's grief. They're processing it as grief. And I just want to say, I want to throw a prayer out there. Now, I heard about this, and I can't not say something. Scott Sion's wife from Planet X News, he has been on the show. He's called in many times. Previously, his previous wife, who, mother of some of his children, just took her own life because of financial issues that happened because of this. She was literally kind of, I guess, in a hole in some way, and she just got a new job and was heading out of that hole, and then this happened and took that all away. So I just want to just give a moment of silence for Scott's wife and for Scott. I know he's hurting. I know his kids are hurting. So I just wanted to give him a slight 20-second moment of silence. All right, with no matter what, we are all on this planet together, and we've got to get along, and we have to We have to understand that, life is short, and we just have to kind of accept these things as they go. Now, this is something else. Other people have warned me. In fact, some of our group have been telling me to order meat. I know that Dex, you ended up doing kind of something that's a little bit different that people don't normally do, but some of the smartest people do it because it's great to get in bulk, to do bulk meat from services. Because meat is now possibly going to come into a shortage range. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, no, we've got plenty, we're fine, we're this. A lot of the meat came imported, and the stuff that is made here, a lot of those companies are supposedly closing down or saying they are. So either way, the ramifications or the consequences of this is that meat might get really, really slim. Now, some of you might not care because you eat less, processed or some of the other options. But there's a lot of people that are kind of stressed out by this.
Right. And, the other thing I would say, Adam, is it's not just that even if there's a shortage or not a shortage, the fact that the media is talking about there being a shortage will create one just in fact that people will start to buy. Okay. So the question then becomes, do you stay out of it? And then, like we had this problem with something as simple as, toilet paper, right? Like everybody's like, well, come on, you make that stuff here, we'll have more of it, but we don't. And it's like, we still don't have it on the shelves. So, it's kind of interesting, the psychological actions that come from everybody when they start to think that there's going to be a shortage on something.
I bet the vegetarians are doing like a Fortnite dance right now, like, not affected. But one of the things though too is, and that's another thing to think about, vegetarians, you might not be time to go vegetarian, but there are ways to get proteins and things like this without getting meat. I'm not panicked about the meat shortage, not quite yet. But again, I've always been, I've never been high up on the totem pole where I never buy steaks and stuff like that. It's just, I guess growing up in a poor family, we didn't get steaks and stuff. We got the cheaper processed meats and things like that. And what's really crazy is because of this, a lot of the cheaper stuff is what is going to have a shortage because Tyson and Smith Foods and all of these, those are processing plants. They make the hot dogs, the ham, the processed meat that is usually more affordable. So that is kind of what is going to get shrunk down. And what we're going to see is prices raise on things. Again, you might even have a better chance getting a T-bone. But again, there's companies, and again, you can just research or look them up, that you can get that meat through in bulk. Do you know, you went through one that's like a famous one, right?
Oh yeah, I ordered, and I just ordered the cheapest burgers I could get, but I ordered burgers from Omaha Steaks.
Omaha Steaks.
You could order like 40 frozen burgers, and I can.
Those are the guys that hand their cards out and like they actually have like door-to-door salesmen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not something we're telling you. I'm saying you can still get meat there, like good meat, and they deliver it to you. So,
and my alternative is I have to go to the store every couple of days if I want a pack because we're limited on what we're allowed to buy, and now we're seeing that the shelves are starting to empty. So I figured, there you go. I just throw some in the freezer and we'll have, some alternates and burgers.
Wait, and there's no limit. Like they're not limiting you to one steak per family or 2 steaks per unit or whatever. You can just order as much as you want.
Like I said, 40 burgers and yeah.
Again, you can Google them or any other company, and I didn't even think about it. So, and then of course. Whoa, I'm going to read this and then I'm going to shout out whoever that was. The Twilight Zone means another ninjet. Veteran Steve, Michael 44, thank you guys. Blue Knight, and authority, including governors and the President of the United States, civil conflict will rise. So I'm going to read this because check this out. America's meat crisis laid bare as shelves sit empty across the country. America's mounting meat crisis has been laid bare in pictures showing empty store shelves across the country after processing plants were forced to slow production or close amid outbreaks of the CV. It says that 24 meat factories have actually, across America, once this comes back, have been forced to close at some point in the last 2 months, while others have been forced to slow their output, of course, with less staff, less going out, after workers got sick, according to union bosses. It says shortages of poultry, beef, and pork have continued despite stores limiting how many products each person can buy in order to prevent hoarding, which has exacerbated the problem. So they're saying that the single man that buys 80 steaks in for a week, that's families of 5 can't even find one. That's the thing, though. If they're putting that in place and everywhere, that wouldn't be the issue. Now they're saying that even with this, they're having issues. So is that true? I have no idea. Again, that's something that we would have to look at as an entire country. In fact, you guys get on Twitter. And fill out my survey. I'm going to do a survey, and I'm going to end up putting, what state you're in. So just basically put what state you're in and how your meat situation is, and we can actually match that up to what they're saying is happening, and then match it up to reality. If we can get people from all the different states, that would be great. We could go through it and go over it on the next show, and I'll, of course, mention your Twitter and pull up your statements there. So we'll do that. We'll end up putting that up after the show. So after the show, head over to @Marfoogle on Twitter. And then Blue Knight 602, thank you so much for that. Lady of the Woods, just wondered if you'd read that executive order T-Man signed today, electric grid. Thank you. So we're actually doing a piece on that. That coincides with everything, and then we talked about this whole thing last night. So again, the grid is something that a lot of our group has been talking about. So we're actually going to go in depth into that. And there's a lot of stuff that you guys probably want to know. It says, just getting what I need. Shelves pretty bare today at the store, says Gone Girl 777. Planet Anna says vegetarian dancing. And then Lady of the Woods, I'm going to get back to that because I'm going to tell you that a lot of people are preparing to at least do some sort of prep for some sort of grid situation, including our military. Patriot Patriot Nomad says, finally made it to D-Live. That's awesome. Kelly2334, Sly the Coffee, Just a Cat Mom, Kahaja, New York Dirty Water Dogs, and my Mustard and Onions, the best, says Kahaja Fly Girl, and I say her name wrong every single time. J.K. Hathaway, meat is still rather easy to get here in Houston. Houston, Texas is not having a problem, but I guess you guys have a lot of local places, huh? Blue Knight, I was actually thinking, one doesn't make sense without the other. And then, let's see here. Dex, can you read the two things together? Because I'm not seeing it. And then Amy R. Whoa. Amy, seriously, we of course appreciate it. Amy, you are literally the top supporter, and I don't expect you to stay there. And I really, really appreciate that. That is absolutely huge. Thank you so much for the Ninjet. Just know that you guys are supporting a good family. I mean, really, we're trying to expand. So thank you. Okay, so
Adam, did you need me to read something, or did you get it?
Can you read Blue Knights? Because I was confused on the second part. Read
So the part he said Supreme Court after Civil War ruled. Sorry, I shouldn't have said war. Said it again. Ruled no judicial or executive officer may suspend constitutional rights, else they forfeit their office, and I assume it's autonomy gets cut off there. And then the other one was Amy R., which was You're a Good Man, Marf.
Oh, no. Blue Knight continued it with a Ninja Guinea, and he said civil.
Oh, okay.
They didn't make sense separately. That's why I actually wanted to hear, but that's okay.
Yeah, I can't see it. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We'll end up putting it on the next ticker, and we'll read it tomorrow. Thank you, Blue Knight. And then you guys are all getting better as creators, too. I've been watching a lot of the YouTube creators in this group, and went into the creators group, and I'm just like really, really impressed with everybody, how they're improving, how they are just continuing to actually try to get better at everything. Once you guys fan out, then we'll have a huge network of people. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It says the Hong Kong airport trials disinfection booths that kill CV within 40 seconds. Now, remember that video we showed you at the Walmart in Africa? They were literally going through this pathway and it sprays them. It's like a car wash or something for people, and it sprays you with disinfectant. I'm assuming that this is a lot like it. It says, in hopes of reducing the spread of CV, Hong Kong International Airport has started trialing several new technologies. It says the airport has enlisted the help of robotic cleaners, while passengers will also use full-body disinfection booths. So this is exactly what we were talking about. It's one of those hallways that they kind of walk through, and it sprays them and it disinfects everything. Stephen Yu, Deputy Director Service Delivery of the Hong Kong Airport Authority, or AA, says the safety and well-being of airport staff and passengers are also a first priority. So would you want to go through one of these? I know that a lot of people are said on Twitter that they're afraid to go through these things because they don't know what's being sprayed. And I'm like, it's most likely sanitizer, right? But again, what is your opinion on this? Would you go through something that's being sprayed? Or would you say, I'll just take a flight later after this is all done? Which is crazy because in Hong Kong, they do have local flights and things running. Whereas here, I don't know what the situation is. I mean, can we still go across state lines? I'm pretty sure in some states you can, right? I haven't heard if they've completely stopped people from traveling. It just seems like a lot of craziness. Let's see here. And then, of course, we're going to go over that in a second. What do you guys think about that? Do you want those? Do you think it will help? I know that some people are probably cheering and saying, let's have that everywhere. Now this is a big deal for everybody, including myself and a lot of others. So this tears people in the middle. This hashtag cancel rent is actually a big thing on Twitter right now. And people are rallying a cry for tenants. Landlords are alarmed. So what is happening is people are saying, hey, you guys as landlords and owners of homes you guys are basically getting a deferral on your side of it. But we're not getting it. If you pay rent right now, and I know, and I would love for you to put in the chat right now, if you are behind on rent, and don't be embarrassed, literally everybody has lost their job. You don't have to put it, but I want to hear it. If people cannot pay their rent this month because they were forcibly unemployed, I would love to hear from you. I'd love for you to tweet me, tag me in something. I want to know. And actually, you could tag Marfoogle News, hashtag Marfoogle News, and hashtag cancel rent. Because I think that this is a big deal. See, when they started doing deferral for the homes, they said, hey, you own a home, we're going to basically move your mortgage to the end of the 3 months. Now, some states weren't as great. In fact, we asked Dex, and Dex ended up investigating to see what his state was. He ended up calling on his house, and they said, well, you don't just not pay rent. After the 3 months, you have to pay it all in one big chunk. So he said, who would that help? Do you guys get me? Like, who would that help? If it was deferred, but at the end of the 3 months, which you're not working, have to pay the whole thing. But a lot of states are literally putting it at the back end of the loan, which that's what should happen, right? Well, get this. If it happens with a tenant in an apartment, all of you patriots, it's crazy because this is where it gets confusing. So if you're a patriot and you're about the Constitution, it's unconstitutional to tell a landlord that they can't charge rent on their property. Do you see where this gets? So, and of course, most of you guys that are you cheer for the Constitution all day, but right now are stuck in a position where you can't pay rent. It tears you in the middle because it's actually, it's totally against the Constitution to tell an owner of a home to not charge rent on their property or to put it off for this or that. It's probably what should be done, but it's not constitutional. Where is that line? It says, As unemployment soars across the country, tenants' rights groups and community nonprofits have rallied around an audacious goal to persuade the government to halt rent and mortgage payments without back payments accruing for as long as the economy is battered by the CV. The effort has been brewing on social media with the hashtag cancel rent and online video rallies, as well as a smattering of in-person protests, frequently held in cars to maintain social distancing. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, famous you-know-what, it offered a fervent endorsement of the campaign, encouraging her progressive base to embrace a movement to upend the housing market. So doesn't matter what side you sit on, it's kind of hard, because I know that there's people that, are absolutely against this normally, but then they are in a tough spot right now. So it's, they always try to make it a left or a right thing. I'm just saying right in the middle, this tears a lot of people right in half, because, as far as I shared that video, ticked off Rick or something. This New York guy that, can you remember? Ticked Off Vic. He's this totally New York comedian guy, and he's kind of like what grinds my gears kind of guy. And he did the funniest video. It is very, I guess, adult in language, but the guy makes an amazing point. If you guys saw it on Twitter, let me know in the chat. It was funny, but at the same time, he was on point. Everything should be pushed back for 3 months, and not like, hey, it's free, but push back to the end of the loan. If all of these things, credit cards, put back to the end of the term, your house payment, end of the term, your bills, end of the term, that would make sense, right? And here's the point he made, and it was beautiful. It was literally beautiful, and I grabbed him. I'm like, oh my gosh. He made the point that the banks have been bailed out, right? These banks that literally pay their top end billions of dollars, their top end CEOs, everybody up here, billions of dollars. They put out so much money, and they don't save a single penny for a rainy day. Not any of that goes into kind of a savings fund, right? They're always telling us to prepare for a rainy day. But they get bailed out. But when we're screwed, they don't end up bailing us out. But they'll bail the bank out, even though they've got all of this money. And you're talking about quarterly profits in the billions. And where does that all go when something like this happens? They don't save a single dime for a rainy day until, and it's just funny. Where did all that money go? It went out to the richest of the rich of the rich of the rich. It's absolutely amazing. And they don't save any money as a company to keep the thing going? Of course not. Because they're going to get bailed out. It's just crazy. Because you guys have to watch that video. He literally struck a chord, and again, it's ticked off Vic. But again, it is adult language. So if that's not your thing, you wouldn't want to watch. But if you can get past the language, he's mad. And you could tell that out of all of his comedic videos, that one, he means it. And I think it's because it strikes a chord with all of us. We're all hitting financial times right now. Senator questions Clearview AI over CV tracking plans. And this is a big deal. It says Clearview AI is facing questions about apparent talks with federal and state officials to use its facial recognition technology to track people infected with the CV. Senator Edward Markey, a D from Massachusetts, on Thursday sent a letter to Clearview AI asking the company to name agencies it's in talks with and to disclose any possible agreements to develop contact tracing tools, according to a report from BuzzFeed News. Markey's office didn't immediately respond to a request for comment, but in a tweet Thursday, the senator said that the need for CV contact tracing can't be, quote, used as cover by companies like Clearview to build shadowy surveillance networks. And what we know from Edward Snowden, whether you think he's a traitor or this or that, is that it's happening, right? It's happened for years, and when it first came out, it shocked us, right? It didn't really shock us. Most of us were like, yeah, makes sense. Big Brother was listening to all our calls, reading all of our texts. They had whole departments just feeding through this stuff. They were listening through our TVs. They were listening through every smart device, and it's only gotten worse. NSA was recording calls that it shouldn't have been, and then they said they deleted 600 million calls because they finally figured out in 2017 that, we probably shouldn't have these. They just changed their system. Now they're going to have absolutely everything. And this is coming. I mean, this is here. My state, which I told you guys, Jay Inslee, the governor, who just so happens to have his daughter-in-law working for the B&M Foundation, just so happened to be the first state that kicks in facial recognition through Microsoft. No connection. And that's the national model for the rest of the country. So you're like, who cares? It's in Washington. Well, it's going to be where you are too. And the scary part is that all of this is going to be kicked in, and there's good reason for it. We're afraid of this, so we need this. And unfortunately, it's going to happen. It's not like something else where, everybody gets against it, they vote against it, and it stops. They will get this in gradually and subtly. They'll add one thing at a time. Just like we called the Ring when we saw that patent come through. One of our viewers was amazing. Caught that patent before the mainstream news. We told you. Ring, Amazon, Ring's company, the owner, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, literally patented facial recognition on the Ring camera. And after that, we knew. A year and a half later, they're saying, we actually do have facial recognition, and we're trying to break it out slowly. They do it in incremental changes, and that's what's going to end up happening, and it's not something really we can fight because it's going to be a convenience. We're going to ask for it. People are going to ask for it. They're going to say, I'll be so much safer. If a criminal walks by my house, then it will facially recognize them, and they'll catch him like that. Or if he's been stealing any other house, it will take a reference of his face, and then if he comes by my house, they'll catch him like that, even if he's not on a record. They're already connecting Ring with police stations, and now they are working with massive companies like 7-Eleven. Think about this. How many of you guys go to 7-Eleven? Ever? Gas, convenience items, booze. If all of those are hit with, if you're talking about Walmart, Target, Fred Meyer, Costco, 7-Elevens, EMPs, Shell stations, all of these, if they all have it, then you're not getting away from it. Think about this, guys. It's going to get pretty advanced. Tuck Pup says, so true, man. We're divided in more ways than one. Tuck Pup, thank you so much for the diamond. And then Harley D, howdy, Marf. Really enjoy your show and have for a while. Well, thank you so much, and it's nice to meet you. So, again, there's just so much that is hitting right now. Blue Knight 602, let me know when I can send a picture to show you guys what I was talking about. Well, Blue Knight, we usually ask you to call in. We can get you in tomorrow. Let's see here. And I saw your video of the sky picture. I thought that was really cool. Mama Sherry 1969, H. Kari 2021, thank you so much. Global Impact 2006, 6.2, 2020, 7.8. Max population 9 to 10 billion. Virus baby boom. So I think it's absolutely nuts that we have gone up almost 2 billion people in just the last 12 years. Is that not alarming to anyone? So as far as like what is going on, it's pretty nuts. Kelly2334 says, you called it? Yes, unfortunately, it's kind of sad, but when you look at the stuff we look at on a daily basis, when you collect 12 stories from that month, you can tell what direction they're heading. I mean, it's really just not. The thing is the majority of Americans, they only look at one little piece. They only see one story, and they don't follow every single news story. So when you follow every single news story every single day, you start putting together the pieces. Let's see here. We've got Gone Girl, thank you so much. Ketra54, thank you for subscribing. And over on YouTube, I'm going to get over to the YouTube chat here in a second. Appreciate you guys all coming out as well. Just a huge amount of love for each other you guys have. If you guys want to support us in a different way, you guys know that I've been grounding for over a year now. It's helped my sleep and my digestion. These end up, right now, I'd say there's a couple more important things. But as far as earthing, I believe in it as a whole. If you guys don't do this, the cool thing is you don't have to buy anything. You can actually go outside and stand in your yard to do earthing. It sounds crazy, and I thought it was nutty at first, but it has actually changed my entire digestion system, and I know it. Before I started doing this, I had severe problems. So again, it decreases inflammation, and that's what it does to get your body going. But you need a lot of it. So that's why people do this, is because it can't just stand out in their yard all day. If you want to support us through earthing, you can get one of their bed mats. That's what I end up using. And then you just put it on your bed under your sheets, and then you don't even think about it. You get 8 hours of grounding in while you're asleep. It's awesome. You wake up, and it started after about the 3rd month mark is when my sleep schedule just started to get into this groove. And I just never had that. It was like an alarm clock. It was boom, boom. So even if I stayed up until 4, I would wake up at the same time. It's just crazy. Again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. We've worked directly with Clint Ober. We've had, of course, the award-winning Muriel Hemingway on the show. Amazing movie there. We had first access before anybody else. The Foogle fam had access to that documentary. The Earthing movie, of course, is at marfooglenews.com/GT. If you want to support us or get one of the mats or one of the computer mats or any of that, marfooglenews.com/earthing. And then, of course, we have artificial intelligence outperforms human intel analysts in this one key area. Can you explain this, Dex? Because you are a resident tech guru. What do you think that this? What do you think about this?
Hey, Adam.
Go ahead.
So this is interesting because in the sense that they're actually, we've often said AI is going to advance and one day be really strong and powerful, and we're going to have to worry about it. But we've always thought that our human brains could make decisions better, and it sounds like in this scenario they have gotten it to the point where it is outperforming humans, which is really a pretty serious tipping point, I think, when we think about the advancement of AI, right? And if they're winning every time, or if the predictions and the decision-making process is winning every time over human thought, then we're definitely getting pretty far advanced in a way that we need to be very alert as to how these different technologies are going to be rolled out to the rest of the world.
I mean, we're talking about Skynet type stuff, like Terminator stuff. The stuff of science fiction films is now happening. Once quantum computing comes down to the area where a lot of different people can use it, you're going to end up getting to advancements in society that people think as science fiction now. I mean, this is really, we are evolving. And then that point that was just made, I'm trying to, I have the memory of a hamster when I'm doing the show. In 2008, we had 6.2 billion people on Earth, and that has gone up by 1/4 to almost 8 billion. That's huge. That means we are going to have 10 million. This is, according to them, they say that that's too many humans, that we're going to the point of no return on all sorts of different things. So as far as what's happening with this, it's getting absolutely nuts. I mean, you really can't say enough about that. Just by the way, it says, I actually had access to this now. Hold on. It says, and authority, including governors of the President of the United States, doing so makes conflict against the Constitution. And in turn, the Supreme Court, after civil conflict, ruled no judicial or executive officer may suspend constitutional right, else they forfeit their office and out. So I guess what that's saying is that if you ended up suspending the constitutional right, you would have to step down as the president. I'm gonna look into that, and we're gonna go over that tomorrow. Again, Blue Knight, thank you so much. We're going to talk about that. And then, again, with this, artificial intelligence is one of the things that some of the elites that are public about this, like Elon Musk, is more fearful. They're more fearful of that than they are of any kind of nuclear explosion or anything. They are saying that this is going to be our downfall if we do not regulate it heavily. It's pretty nuts to think of it like that. All right, and then let's see here. Wanted to go into here. That's so crazy. We have 3.3 thousand on YouTube and 3.3 thousand on DLive. That's actually that's pretty weird. Susan Donahue, Adam, Dex, and Mod Squad. Many thanks and much love. Adam, please check unusa.org. It's the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs. I've never heard of this. Dex, have you heard of that? unusa.org. It's the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs, and they just celebrated their 50th anniversary, yet I've never heard of this. Outer space ambassadors are even listed. What? I didn't know that. Like, what if aliens came today, we actually have ambassadors, like the guy that says, I am the ambassador for Earth. That is nuts. Andrea Simmons, thank you so much. By the way, I think I missed a couple people because it's not refreshing my mini feed here. So I appreciate you guys that supported and I didn't get to you. We'll, of course, if you do end up doing a super chat and I miss it, it will end up on the ticker down below scrolling. So thank you. Andrea Simmons, thank you for the super sticker. That's very cute. And then we've got Red Eye Obsolete, says 2 Apache helicopters went by my area in northwest Indiana a few minutes ago. So, and then the one thing too is that we need people to really put together if it's strange or not. So the thing is if we don't know the area, we don't know if that's normal for Apache helicopters to go over if you're close by to a base. What creeps me out is if you're not. Faction TV, thank you. We love you, Adam and Dex. We're coming back. Awesome, Faction TV. And then Above and Beyond, thank you for the cute super sticker as well. KD. I guess, I'm sorry, KO. And then Gem, you don't have to do anything. And then again, special shout out to JSone78 right now. And Trinity, Red Pill, Blue Pill, CJ Blaze, Alice J. We've got West Virginia Prepared Mind. We've got pretty much all of our mods over there except for Lisa, which I know Lisa's busy right now, so that's okay. Bones, what is going on? I'm going to try to get all my mods together. Again, Dex, we need to do our mod show. I would love, you guys have to realize our mods have been working for 2 years towards the bettering of the Foogle family. They always help with everybody. So make sure to say thank you to a mod. People don't realize how hard it is for them to decide, It's a thin line between a troll and opinion, and we try to do the best job we can. All right, and then amid rising South China Sea tensions, U.S. dispatches Lancer bombers on surprise flyover. This is the kind of stuff that we have talked about in the last few years. They did huge elephant walks right before they pulled all the bombers off of Guam. If you aren't paying attention, something big is kind of going on. Whether they be moving things around or preparing for possibilities, they're definitely doing something. And it really takes kind of closing your eyes and ears and going la 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 to not see that things are happening as we speak. And maybe it's just preparing for kind of a possibility. Maybe it's just rise tensions. The thing is since we took that kind of public alert level out of the picture, we don't actually know. We could literally be in the highest alert level and the public really wouldn't know. So we don't know what is going on. As far as the China situation, now we are calling to never be the same dependence on China as before. And not only are we calling for that, the entire American people are behind it because of this event. So I don't know if that was intentional, if it was intended that we would all get behind this, because it really takes the people being behind something or wanting something. As you guys saw, after September of 2001, everybody was red in the eyes. They wanted to take out other countries, because of this event that happened, and it got us really angry. And out of emotion, we were like, yeah, we should, listen to our calls, do this, do that, make Homeland Security, make all these things. The Patriot Act was put into place. And that's because we actually were afraid of something worse happening. So we took that and said, well, I guess that's better than what the other option is. And it seems like a lot of people are saying that's what's going on with this. Woman of Wonder, War Games was based off of real-world false alarm at NORAD. We were 3 minutes from going dark and nuking Russia. Very few know. So we've talked about that. Woman of Wonder, again, in the past, we have had close calls where we almost all disappeared off this planet. And people don't realize that. And we've talked about it several times. So, very good point. We have had very, very close calls. So it says it's a second such deployment in nearly a week. The U.S. Air Force sent 2 B-1B Lancer supersonic bombers halfway around the globe to the South China Sea, where U.S. and Chinese forces have increasingly rubbed shoulders in recent days. So these guys are close. It says including the ejection of a U.S. warship from contested waters, which we covered yesterday. They literally told the U.S. Navy vessel, get the heck out of here. You're in China space now. It says a second trans-Pacific trip earlier this week, 2 U.S. Air Force B-1B Lancer bombers made a 32-hour round-trip flight from South Dakota to conduct operations over the South China Sea. As part of a bomber task force mission, the Air Force announced on Thursday. It says, quote, this operation demonstrates the U.S. Air Force's dynamic force employment model in line with the National Defense Strategy's objectives and strategic predictability with persistent bomber presence, assuring allies and partners, the release stated. It says the Pentagon has moved to adopt the, quote, dynamic force employment. What a name for that, right? The dynamic force employment system as way of keeping its adversaries off guard by breaking up routine deployments and force movements. So I don't know if you heard any of that, Dex, but it sounds like they are basically being random. Is that what they're saying? They're being random so they don't know what we're doing next. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's part of the latest strategy is to, instead of doing what we've been doing, do something different and mix it up.
And when else does that happen? That happens before big conflicts.
Yes,
where you're doing things before.
I think this is definitely either defensive or offensive or both position.
So they're essentially saying they are being completely unpredictable and not structured right now. And they're putting a fancy name of dynamic force employment. and essentially breaking up. They're not doing their annual thing. We're going to do it on the 14th of every year and we're going to practice this. They're just randomly pulling bombers off of Guam. They're sending Navy ships down here. They're throwing planes over here, planes over here, planes over here. They're flying random missions. That's just called being random, right? And it's to throw our adversaries off. Why do we need to be so random? Well, maybe something's going on. Just a thought, just an opinion of sorts. It says photos posted by the Pentagon Media Hub Defense Visual Information DVIDs. I'll just say the abbreviation next time. Show the supersonic bombers, which hailed from Ellsworth Air Force Base, refueling over the Pacific Ocean en route to Southeast Asia. So, what a cool picture, too. Look at that. These things are just so flippin' amazing. So those things come up, and that little nozzle on the nose actually refuels from some of these big refuelers. And the guy's just sitting in there. What a cool freaking job. And this is one of those jets that... I had these jets as like a Hot Wheels jet. The wings fold back and they can go even faster. God, some guys, would you, some people have the coolest jobs. I mean, literally, when they said when you were a little kid, you could be anything. I really wish I would have listened to that. I would have loved to be like an Air Force pilot or something like that instead of, I really want my kids to make sure, and it's really about connections. They say that you have to go to college and do all of this. I think really they should tell you this when you're a little kid. You need to know people. And that really is what the difference is between some of these people. You could have the best college degrees in the world and not get these sweet jobs. Really, it's about people. And if I knew that in kindergarten, I would have just been like, wait, who's the coolest kid in class, right? That's kind of how it really works in reality, and I wish I would have known earlier. But then again, I wouldn't be where I am now, and I wouldn't know any of you guys. Faction TV says they are all going off planet. That's why Kim is gone. Kind of lines up with the rockets that were launched right before he went missing. He says, LOL, for real though. And I hate to say it, but I think a lot of people are afraid to say that they think people are actually leaving this planet. Think about the Jeff Bezos having people drive all the way down from Washington to Houston, to Texas. I think it's in Houston, to where they were launching this tourism plane or tourism rocket, right? This is supposed to be one of the first tourist rockets, and he's getting these guys down here almost like urgently, like, come down here, you got to come down here to help with the launch of a tourist rocket. During a pandemic, why is that a priority? And this isn't like a payload to the ISS or something. This is a tourism rocket. All of the different countries heading up to the moon. Israel actually dropping the seeds of life on the moon, and all of these different countries going up there. Why? Why all of a sudden the interest in the moon and Mars? And then them moving the date for it. And I knew there was some sort of weird, odd panic behind the scenes. Dex, do you remember when they all of a sudden kind of moved back the timeline for going to Mars and the moon? Do you remember that? It was like, oh, we'll go up there by 2028 or 2030 or whatever. And then they were like, no, we have to be there by 2024. Why? Is that weird to anybody? They said humans would leave around 22 or 24, I think. And that's just nuts. So we'll see. We'll see.
Blue Origin's in West Texas, by the way. Van Horn.
Thank you. I knew I was.
What's his name? Elon's place is, I believe it's outside of Houston.
And I knew I was wrong on the city. Why all out of Texas though? Why is that a central place for the rockets? I don't get that. Maybe it's just because of how.
Probably because of sharing and learning and hiring out of NASA would be my guess.
But do you also think that it's because they can get affordable workers there as well? Like, it's one of the cheapest places to live.
Lots of land too.
Huh. I couldn't believe, like, if somebody that made the wages of Seattle but lived in Texas, they could afford a mansion. But instead they afford a one-bedroom apartment here. It's really that bad. I just can't believe that houses in other states. In fact, you know what the number one state is? Is West Virginia. West Virginia has the lowest price houses, and I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. You would not be able to get a shack to put in your backyard for the price of a beautiful house in West Virginia, or at least some parts. You're talking about $40,000 for a house. Less than a car for a house on like 3 acres. I was blown away. Arkansas is another one. A lot of them are the Midwest. I think number 8 was like Ohio. I was thinking of some of my friends here that live in different places, and I was like, God, that'd be amazing. Where we go one, we go all. Mods rule. Love you always in all. Love you, Marf. Jersey Linda, thank you so much for the support, and love it. Did $17. And we know who you're a fan of. That's awesome. Jersey Linda. And then Faction TV again, thank you, says, they know Planet X is coming and bringing the asteroid field and the gods from ancient times with it. And they will reset the planet like they always do. You know, if you talk to just somebody at work about that, they would go, you're crazy. But what's crazier is when you look into some of the stuff that some of the professors and very smart people are saying. And these people are people with reputations that, could be ruined. And they are putting that on the line and saying things exactly like what Faction TV just said. These people are Harvard and Oxford educated. I mean, you're talking about the primo of the crop. If you guys are missing notifications, you have to get ours. Go to marfooglenews.com and it will actually show up with the white box. It will say allow notifications from Marfoogle News, or it will be a little red bell. It's the website notifications are now available. It works with most all browsers and Android. iOS is coming soon. Now remember, that is an actual push notification that will go through. So there's no excuse for you to go, oh, I got your notification 3 days late from YouTube. You can actually do it through our website, and it's automatic. That's all it does, is it when we go live, it pushes you a notification, so you'll never miss another show again. And then, of course, robots will replace soldiers in combat, says Russia. And I've talked about this for years. When are we going to get to test out all this robot stuff? And if it really was a conflict of robots versus robots, you're talking about like Robot Wars on Comedy Central or whatever. What is it called? I can't think of the dang name. It's, remote control robots fighting each other. That's going to be real life. I mean, you're talking to the front line of robots beating robots, and it's going to come down to who has the better robots. We might get to a point where we do have a WW3, and it will be robots versus robots frontline, and then hacking. And literally, think about this. Think about if the people weren't the main part of the conflict, but you have robots beating robots, and whoever's robots win, these are, robots with machine guns, then get through the front line and get through and then get into the civilians. Do you think that they possibly, all the different countries are now preparing their manned military? A guy walking with a weapon, what is he going to do to a drone that doesn't have a soul and can just keep going and is bulletproof? You're talking about DARPA doing these walking robots and things. We're just like we're probably already there right now. These things could be armed. Boston Dynamics is making some stuff that will blow your mind. And some of them, they've got jokes out there. I think Corridor Crew on YouTube actually did a video, essentially having this thing just be badass. But that's going to be real life. We're talking about AI-driven robots, straight up Terminators. And this is actually happening. And then South Korea, we covered this a year and a half ago, and I tell you that it's coming. We called that as well. They had a grant, and they teamed up, South Korea, our ally, they teamed up with the local AI company, right? And scientists from all over the world, they got together and they started protesting, and they said, you cannot make Terminators. In other words, they were saying this was a company that makes robots up with a company that makes AI, and it was a military contract. So they said, you're making killer robots. They said, no, we're not. We just happen to have a military contract for AI, but we're not making them into killer robots. Everybody saw right through that. They said they are. Now there's proof of it. They're making these robots, and they are deadly. And we're talking about AI-driven ones that don't have a boss. That's scary. So that's where this whole facial recognition and everything starts coming into play. That's where it's kind of scary that Russia is separating. Think about it. They could run their own intranet with their own robots. It all starts to tie into everything else that's going on. Skynet, everything. It says, for Russia, the question of robots taking over the roles of soldiers on the battlefield is a matter of when, not if. This is exactly what I said. It says, living fighters will gradually begin to be replaced by their robotic brothers who can act faster, more accurately, and more selectively than people. Vitaly Davidov told RIA Novosti on April 21st. Davidov is the deputy director of Russia's Advanced Research Foundation, their equivalent of DARPA. It says it's DARPA analog. It says developing robots for conflict is an international phenomenon, and Davidov's remarks fall into a broader pattern of Russia seeking to augment its existing military with new autonomous capabilities. You're talking about Terminators with AI. It says there are still classified Russia's military robotics roadmap that sketches out various stages of Russian unnamed military. So, absolutely nuts here. They're making these things and they are going to be taking over. Not happy about that. Nobody should be. Okay, wait 1 second here. So it says DLive is down. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm checking it, Adam. Just your stream's still good on Restream, so just keep rolling. I'm gonna see if I can flip it on and off for DLive.
Okay. Who knows what it will do. All right, so that is funny. Well, you guys can always come over if it's having choppy problems, you can always come over there. Let's see here. Last one. Executive order on securing the United States bulk power system. This is exactly what we're talking about. It says, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the international emergency economic powers, it says, I, Donald, President of the United States, find that foreign adversaries are increasingly creating and exploiting vulnerabilities in the United States bulk power system, the grid, which provides the electricity that supports our national defense, vital emergency services, critical infrastructure, economy, and a way of life. The bulk power system is a target of those seeking to commit malicious acts against the United States and its people, including malicious cyber activities, because a successful attack on our bulk power system would present significant risks to our economy, human health, and safety, and would render the United States less capable of acting in defense of itself and its allies. So check that out. Is that not crazy or what? So this is regarding the grid that the person talked about earlier. We're talking about some really crazy stuff here. So they're essentially telling us more stuff is going on, and this is what we sold. We told you actually told you 5 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago. We told you just last week that more news was going to come out specifically regarding the grid, and here it is. We finally got it. So again, I hate to say it, but this is to the point where regular people need to start preparing for this kind of stuff. The military prepares, the government prepares. Why aren't we? When we saw huge events that have happened, it was absolutely, it was crazy how bad the response was. If you look at Hurricane Katrina and things like this, what did the police do in that situation? Well, we saw they left their posts and they went to save their own families. So do not depend on somebody else. This being a key point, obviously they are looking into it, and they're essentially not telling us all of the studies that are out there because they can't. A lot of them are confidential. That's why we were actually worried that EMP Shield was not going to continue working with the consumers. I I have a concern for all of us, and I think that we all should do in this. And that is, again, what brings me into the next part. We're actually going to go deeper into the grid situation, and we're trying to get a really good guest on that's going to talk about why this is being done and why there's executive orders being signed right now. And you guys will see, again, which... this is why we work with these guys. So if you guys want to help support us and protect yourself against any kind of EMP Shield is a device that actually grounds the signal before it fries your devices. And that includes your car, your solar system, all sorts of different items are actually protected against it. Now, what you guys should be doing, even if you don't go through us, if you don't go through our codes, Google them and go around us if you have to. I cannot say more. I've been stressing this since before I even knew they were a company. This is the company that was actually mentioned in the EMP resilience report by DHS, and they've been giving us little nuggets ever since. So Foogle fam, go out there and get it. You do get a discount if you use our code, but you can also go through a different creator that actually works with them. Either way, people need to have one. You can go to EMP Shield. And then again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. You can actually go to our website. There is their banner. You can just click on it to go check out their number of products there. Okay, so we're going to get the phones open. Dex, do we have an update on DLive?
Yeah, Adam, we're back up. We've had a few problems over there, but turning on and off the stream seems to make it restart.
Huh? It's only on DLive. That's weird.
Well, we had a problem on YouTube too for a moment, but it's fine now.
Okay, good. All right, so to get back on things, let's see here. Still live on Marfoogle TV, 3.6 thousand watching. Thank you guys for all being here as well. Richard LaFarve, I haven't seen you in a minute. Or I guess I just haven't seen you during Shout. Backwoods Ingenuity says, ordered EMP Shield yesterday. Used code MARF. You know it better than I do. The thing is you don't have to use ours. And I can't stress it enough. We have told you guys. I guess it's some of the people that have been around since Andrew's come on our show and some other folks. They don't have to sell to consumers. Again, they could live the rest of their lives. The owners of that company, they blew up. Now they're building these huge facilities, and they're contracted by many different groups, DHS, DOD, and then again, that's what they're protecting themselves with. So why aren't we? That's why I say to my groups, if you guys want to go through somebody else too, we have other channels that you can go through and support them. In fact, there's some in the Foogle fam. You can support them, or you can support us, doesn't matter. Or you can go and not support anybody, but that would just be dumb because there's discount. There's actually another 15% off right now. So thank you. I appreciate that. N Golden 0003. DLive is down, no vision or sound. That's okay. I think we fixed that. DLive came back, says Northern Tiger. Thank you. Yabba Dabba 5. I love it. Is that, I'm guessing Yabba Dabba sexy. Jennifer Heath. Veronica Powers, mom of 9. My husband works at a fast food or at a food distribution center and was told prices will increase next week on meat products. So there you heard it from a viewer that says that they have been told as workers that meat will go up next week. We don't know if that's confirmed, but I guess we'll all see. I don't think that I would not be surprised if that's true. It says...
Adam, I think I've read that too elsewhere today. So yeah, I would believe that. I already foresaw that the prices were going to go up, and we talked about it, but it was just our guess. But now if the companies are actually saying, hey, we're going to raise our prices, that's another thing. Trinity Red or Blue Pill says, radio signal is coming from inside the Milky Way, detected by astronomers. Announced by the Astronomer's Telegram by Paul Scholes today, May 1st, 2020. What a crazy... Trinity, we should do some sort of collab and check it out. You could do a video for us. Willie's just says meat. Meat. I love it. Rob Stewart, CJ Blaze, Copper 4113, Veteran Bertle, Beetle Art.
I love seeing names that have been here for a really, really long time. West Oreo says, listen to my music. Well, don't know how to. Beam Me Up Scott says, give your tithes to me. Let's see. Brant Hooper. Beef is already up in Alberta, Canada by 50%. Yeah, well, and again, somebody said that in Mexico, a couple of the folks that watch from Mexico said that their meat was astronomical. Like, people can't even afford it in some of the places. Because I used to live in different little places, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of craziness going on. Kelly2334, Kahaja Girl, Fly Girl, thank you so much. Says, we are almost back over on D-Live. Chris Ciaris, 76. I don't know what that link goes to, but we'll check it out. Grace for you too. Thanks, Marv. Gone Girl, Great Scott Captain. Thank you for tuning in. Debsy, Dudio, Shastina, Luna Soul, Girl, Jafarm, Lisa K. Thank you guys for the lemons. Ophelia AK, thank you. Appreciate that. To any creator, if Christar is here, or to Real Seb or Cincy, any of you guys, appreciate you guys being here. Alpha, Kev Robo, thank you guys. Mosquitoes, CM Barker, bless you, brother, praying for you daily. Thank you. I can't do specifics, but I pray for everybody. Nerd of the North, thank you for being here. And then Cutthroat Mom, thanks for handing out subs. Priscilla, wish peeps would be quiet for a moment or two. And then we've got CBM, Renegade Petey. Love D-Live so much better, says M. Menching. Okay, so we're going to bring in a couple callers here. Boom, boom. Let's see here. Stephanie, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hello.
How are you doing? So you want to...
How are you?
You were talking about some predictions here. What is going on with that?
Yeah, I get dreams, and I've been dreaming my whole life, but they also now are manifesting in more than just dreams. And in 2017, I was shown, and I believe it's now, that the vice president, I'll leave it that way, and it was shown that he was going to save the people on my television. I know it sounds crazy. I actually recorded it on my channel on YouTube, and I think you might have a link.
Okay, so I will pull this up and see if there's something there. Let's see here. Okay, and I have your full permission to play this video, right?
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
And this is when I saw it, I didn't know what he was going to save. I didn't understand the message, and then now with all this going on with TV and looking back,
Okay, so what am I looking for on this
I was
video?
shown something that's happening.
Okay, so
if you see it's a black screen, you don't. I'm sorry.
And then it's at about a 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Is that where we should be?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to play this.
And you just see it says the number 4.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead. All right, we'll just play the video.
You'll see the words. I think it's pretty. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. What?
Yeah, I was sleeping. I was going to go see a movie, and that just popped up on my screen in between the newscast.
So did you see that? The screen went black, and the...
What in the hell? Okay, hold on. Whoa. That is... So, wait. So, again, this was on a TV, and it's like the subtitles. Wait a second.
Yeah.
And excuse me even for my finger.
No joke.
But
I did nothing.
I wanted
to
show you exactly how.
All right,
I
one
recorded
second.
it. So if you see at the top, it says 10:43, and it took me a couple of times to get it right. But it happened at 10:28. Okay, I'll play it.
So that's it.
So did you see that?
So this was on the news. This was Island News. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
This is absolutely mind-blowing. I don't know why. And then it says Mike Pence united. We are going to save. And then it says people have time. Going to save. Let's see here. Mike Pence united. Number 4. I guess, somebody's going to say, oh, it's a glitch. We're going to... That is so weird.
Isn't it? I had no idea, and I think it was what's to come. What's happening now?
Well, and Mike Pence has played such a weird part in, like, during the sub incident, he was turned around like, we're going to save.
Yeah.
That is so flippin' odd. That is so weird. Yeah. Again, what time was this on?
This was about, I was going to catch the night movie, so I would say just before 11, maybe 10:45.
Oh, and this was in
like that.
And this was in Hawaii.
Because I had,
Dex, can we find out if Mike Pence was anywhere near Hawaii or any of the military bases? Again, what time and day was this? This was yesterday, the day before, last month? When was this?
Oh, no, this was in 2017.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
Yeah, so I had no idea, and it had no reference, so I had no idea.
I can look and see if I can find anything historical on that. But the other thing, did you see, Adam? It said states. I know it flew by quickly, but before it said we're going to save, it said states.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, watch it one more time, or pause it and use the the little frame by frame keys for YT, and see if you can catch that.
Hold on. Well, actually, what I'll do is go in slow-mo. Mike Pence united. Okay, hold on. Let's do setting, playback. 0.5. Vice President Mike Pence united.
United States going to save.
That is so flippin' weird. Wait a second.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
What month of 2017 was this?
November. Just looking at my notes. Like maybe the first week.
I'm watching it one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I don't know.
I'm with ya.
That's really weird. And then,
bizarre.
you guys, okay, so do you know, I don't know if you've probably how long you've watched me for, but part of the first video that I had that actually got kind of views, Secure Team 10 actually showed one of my videos, and he clipped one of my videos. And this was when I was talking to nobody. I had no viewers. And what happened is my sister in Hawaii ended up essentially telling me that they had friends that, and everybody saw on the news that these people were talking after the false missile alert you guys had, and there was a tour boat out there, and the tour boat had about 20 people. They actually had more employees than tourists, and they were out on this kind of underbooked tourist thing at 8 a.m. And they saw a huge flash. And what they thought it was, and what they told the news, is that they thought it was an asteroid that just went into the water at 8 a.m. And this is the exact time of the false missile thing, right? So, and at that point, it was on KHON 2. So I don't know if I don't know if you have that channel too, but KHON 2. And all of a sudden it cut to commercial. So this was a live broadcast. They were talking to these people, and false missile alert, and then they were talking about it, and this was right after it happened, interviewing these people, cut to commercial. So then they told me, I ended up putting that out there. There were thousands of comments on that video that ended up saying, I saw it too, I saw it too, I saw it too. Well, she knew the person. We ended up talking to them, and I ended up, Dr. Michael Sala and all these people wrote articles about what I ended up saying, and it wasn't, they go, well, I didn't just believe this guy. What they believed is once all of the comments came in, so all these people corroborated what my sister and what these guys said. They saw a flash off of the side of this, so something was there, right? So was it a false missile alert? Was it not? That's was the question. That was right around January.
I think we heard there were subs in the water too.
So I guess my point.
I'm not sure if it was one or two.
I guess my point here with this, I'm trying to with that whole thing. Back then, there was some really weird stuff on the island, and they even had an interruption in their thing for communications. So I don't know what is up with the Hawaii news getting some of these weird things that come out. And it's like, since I've been covering this, I've had many stories. And then one of our good friends, Justin True, has a great YouTube channel. Justin True is centered in Hawaii. Hawaii, you guys have military bases that there. You have all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. It's just weird. I want to see historically where this was at. Maybe nothing. I know. I'm sure somebody's going to say, "Oh, it was subtitles for this," but the island news went black and then went to this. It's really very odd. Well, thank you for sharing this with us. I appreciate it.
Oh, no worries. I just wanted to share that just about, a few months before that, I think in August, I did get a dream that I saw a major leader who didn't have a good heart about them. And in my dream, I saw he was pure evil, was wounded and pronounced dead at the hospital, taken away, covered in mud. I saw him in like as a statue form. Then he broke out of the statue form. You could see the mud breaking around him, and that was him encapsulated in mud and taken to the hospital and pronounced just fine by his people. And I've been waiting to hear the latest report, and thank you for reporting it. that he actually is emerging again as just fine. And it almost brings my dream back, even to the point of him saying he went to a spa or a resort, mud bath like a spa. So almost everything I saw in my dream happened with
what about
this leader.
The other thing I thought of is that Kim has all these bronze sculptures too. Kim is has all those 50-foot bronze sculptures of not only himself but his parents. So the whole mud color thing.
Really? That's what I saw. I saw a huge... Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that's what I saw. I thought it was a huge, ominous, horrible statue. I was a nanny in the dream, and his children were afraid of him, and they were holding on to me tight. And there was a huge statue put in the hallway. It was like a huge hallway that like echoed. It was monstrous. And we walked sideways in front of it because we just didn't even want to get that near to it. And then it started crumbling and cracking. And then it looked up. The head on the statue looked up and smiled, and he broke out of it, and his people took him to the hospital, and they pronounced him okay, and had this sinister smile just evil. But yeah, that's what I saw. I saw a huge statue. Wow. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for your call. And again, there's a lot of people now. People that have never had a dream in their life are having tons of dreams, and I think people are starting to get connected on a global level. I really do think that people are starting to connect more than we know. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you, Stephanie, and please call in again. And then, of course, we're going to put your channel, His Holy Tether, on the website. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time, and I hope your family is safe and well, and I wish everyone well here, that, whatever it is, people are ill, and, thank God for the medical professionals and first responders out there taking care of the ones who need it the most. So thank you, and God bless.
All right, you have a God bless you as well, and have a blessed night. I don't know. I just think that's a trip. That whole video. That there have been some weird things that have popped up on what do you call them? On subtitles, and weirdest part is it sounds like it was on a jet. That's what it sounds like. It literally, like, what if somebody at the news slipped in a tape? Because it goes from the regular island news thing to it sounds like a jet. It literally sounds like they're above or on a on a jet, and you could hear the engines. It says number 4, United States. We're going to save the United States. So weird. Tuck Pup, you are live on Marfoogle News. What's going on, Tuck Pup?
What's up, Marf? How you guys doing, fam? How's it going? Thanks for having me again this evening. Happy late birthday, Adam. 16 never looked so good on you.
Oh, you guys, and you're kissing my butt here. Okay, so
yeah,
I've done it too. I said somebody was my favorite because I said I'm old, and they're like, you're not. You're old when people start kissing your butt about your age. That's when you know you are old.
Well, you don't ever turn older than 29.
Exactly. I just put on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that, but my wife was watching Titanic this morning because it was on TV, and we had an argument about when it was. And I'm like, it's 90, 97, 96. She's like, no way. Again, it was 97, 23 years ago. Titanic is 23 years old. That's nuts.
Man. Yeah, that's crazy. I can't remember the last time I watched that, but I do know my heart will go on the piano, so that's what I do know about Titanic.
Well, so will that movie.
It was like one that shipped out with all the Casios.
4 hours. So, yeah, especially on TV with commercials, that movie's even longer. So, Tuck Pup, you wanted to talk about the meat shortage, and you have a video here. So, do I have permission to play this?
I was going to say, I don't know if you can play that just due to what it is, but one of the doctors that stands up with T-Man there next to our big F-boy, the girl dropped a little slip on CNN a couple weeks ago, or maybe a little under a couple weeks ago. And And so when you link it, I won't say too much on it because I don't want to slip up on anything because it's only a 15-second clip on there. You can find the whole interview in other places. But she mentions our big computer guy from Microsoft in place of the government. So it's a pretty interesting, quick little slip. And I think it was something that couldn't have been planned. I think she honestly slipped from her, what she was thinking and what she was supposed to say. So kind of puts a
Freudian slip. So, but it's a really creepy one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it's pretty. It affirmed a lot for I got a really close friend of mine that he's watching too right now. Shout out to my buddy Tyler. I got him following the Foogle. So we've been talking back and forth, and we kind of call these things out. And he sent that to me the other morning, and at that point, at least for him, it was total proof, and we're going back and forth like, yeah, man, okay, so it's, it's not just the high ups that are quote unquote elected that are controlling this. I think there's a lot more going on. And when you mentioned the social distancing aspects of things and the surveillance, and I briefly heard you talk about the Patriot Act and things like that. Those we're going to get things taken from us right under our nose again. At least that's my opinion. And I don't think it's just for, I think there's just a lot more than that. And you look at a big name like Windows 96 guy coming into this, and, he wants the big VC and he's pushing that on people. And then you have, one of our big doctors for WHO or whoever they're working for drops a slip like that on a major news channel. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things that we're seeing now that, at least people like us can look at it and be like, all right, there's something. And people like my dad and my family, who think I'm nuts. I had them for a little bit, but they still think I'm nuts. It's like, I say some of these things and they're like, oh, well, yeah, okay. I'm just glad I'm not there. I'm like, all right, well, you better go buy some rice or something. I'm leaving. So,
well, I'm putting up
interesting.
The video with the subtitles. I'm not going to play the audio. It says, contract the way that we need to. I think that's why the criteria that you can see the GATES that federal government. So it says, the federal government. So it said, Microsoft, the government.
Yeah.
And then look at what's happening here.
I didn't have you on my screen there.
Isn't that crazy? I'm not surprised. And again, now Governor Inslee in my state, which is going to be the national model for you, and you, is saying that facial recognition is kicking in through the company of Microsoft. And then look at how funny how, we've been talking about how all the CEOs have left, but oddly enough, Mr. Microsoft left all of the boards. So he has no connection, so people can't say, oh, it's him. Even though that's what's on their mind. Well, they keep saying it anyways.
And another thing that's interesting, so and this kind of ties in with the meat thing, and I can ping off this perfectly, is so I got a buddy. Did you see all the videos of the ranchers on social media? They were coming up and kind of making their 3 to 6 minute videos saying, talking about their farms getting shut down. Did you see any of those?
I did. I got sent a couple of them actually. So yeah.
Okay, so I caught wind of some of those, and actually my neighbor, my neighbor here in Michigan, their neighbors, they're in their late 60s, and one of them's licensed ATF dealer, so he builds guns and sells them. And the little old lady messaged me, and she sent me one of those videos of a rancher, and she said, he is so right. Let us know if you need anything. We're next door. And I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. But I watched it, and I thought of my buddy in Kansas, and I called him up, and I haven't talked to this guy in probably 6-7 months, work with him on the road. And I just called him to pick his brain. And I said, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I build jigs for work. I'm like, jigs? Like, what do you mean? He goes, well, we build tools to work on airlines, like work on airplanes. I said, like Cessnas? He's like, no, like jets, like Boeing, Spirit, Lockheed Martin. And then I was like, wait a minute. And I don't know if I can say that, but I said, so let me take a shot in the dark here. Your number one priority right now is probably for that Heed company, right? And he said, oh yeah, we've been working for them, getting parts out to them for the last 2.5, 3 months. I mean, we got slammed with stuff, but we're only working 40 hours a week. And I don't know. The other thing he mentioned was that let me see, I had it pulled up. Textron Aviation, and this was a while back, but they furloughed 7,000 employees. Textron, from my understanding, is some sort of offshoot relative to Boeing. And so they laid off 7,000 employees in Wichita back in March. And then in mid-April, they put additional layoffs on and extended it for the rest of this month. So that's a huge hit to Wichita. And so, and then he mentions, yeah, we're building stuff for that company, which is interesting that our guy just stepped down from it. And they're still producing massive amounts of parts and service parts for that company specifically. And Spirit Air, Boeing, a couple other companies, major jet companies, they're not producing anything for because they're pulling their planes out of service. So if they need a part, they go pull it from another plane. And on top of that, and that's not even why I called him, we kind of were, shooting it back and forth, and I pulled that out, and he's, I'm like, wait, do you understand what I'm talking about? He's like, and very calm, he's like, oh yeah. I'm like, so you think something? He's like, yeah, man, yeah, but I gotta clock into work. So he also told me that down in Wichita, they euthanized 60,000 something chickens just in Kansas in the last week, and that in his area, he walks through a store and it's hard to even find a chicken breast on the shelf.
Think about how many meals that is. How many full chickens? That's 60,000. I mean, that could feed 120,000 people at least. I mean, that's right. Such a waste. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Well, yeah, and they're talking about dumping milk, and he also
already
said
are.
that they're forcing farmers to plow their land to get rid of the vegetables, and they're the wheat capital of the world down there in Kansas.
It's just very. I guess the strangeness continues. We keep seeing these things, and we're like, how does this make sense? We're short on stuff, but we're just culling things. It bothers me. And you know what? Also, I just heard from a military source. Not only I tweeted out this link to this video, and the video is just like one of those cool YouTube videos that goes over like the top 10 richest super yacht things. But here's the crazy part: these super yacht submarines. They're literally a hybrid between a gigantic, and I'm talking about some of these are 60, 70, 80 meters, so 180 feet, big as a football field, submarines / yachts. They're essentially yachts that go underwater. The one of the main ones is $2.5 billion. And get this, the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in Dubai, was $1.5 billion. So you're talking about a submarine that is like a yacht that is literally more expensive than the Burj Khalifa. And apparently...
Oh, the Migaloo there. Migaloo, yeah.
And it is said that Bill Gates has multiple. And Bill Gates also has multiple of these shelters, and everybody knows this. It's actually it's known fact that he has this amazing advanced home underneath the ground in all of these locations. So no matter where he is, if something is going on, he can go underground. I mean, what would you do if you had that many billions of dollars?
I'll give you one on that. I'll give you that that I can back that fact up for sure. So I lived in Montana. I've lived on and off out there, but I've lived there for 7 years, and I lived in just outside of the Bozeman area in Big Sky. And I don't know if you're familiar with that area at all, but Big Sky, to the ski resort, has what's called the Yellowstone Club. The Yellowstone Club is the only fully private ski resort in the country, and I think bar none in the world. And I'm talking like private real estate. You got to have a year-long membership, and I can't go off too much on this, but I'll just prove your fact for you. I was a painter up there, and you're talking big names: Tom Brady, Matt Damon, God, who else? Britney Spears' mom and Britney Spears. Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel are raising their kid up there. I mean, huge. Zuckerberg, shit. Dude, excuse me. I got a picture. I should send you this. I got a picture of Mark Zuckerberg sitting in the Gallatin River House Grill in Big Sky, Montana, at a bar full of people just in February. I have a picture of the guy, and people were going over, walking up to him and his Asian girlfriend. I didn't even know he was dating somebody. Anyways, so that's the kind of place that is. But you go up to the Yellowstone Club, and Britney Spears' mom's house is just up the road from where Gates' house is up there. And I have another friend of mine who actually worked on that house specifically. And he said, you go in there and it is like, no joke. You are not, there's somebody over your shoulder looking at you. He flies in. He doesn't drive in. He flies his own helicopter in. And those mountains there, the Spanish Peaks, the Gallatin Range, Taylor Hill Guards, those are no fly zones without permission. So he flies himself in. And it's like a big deal. And my buddy who was working there said he wasn't even allowed to go out the back porch because outside of the back porch, there was basically like a shed looking thing and it was a door. And so whether or not that's what it is, I believe it because his compound up there is massive. And I've seen it with my own eyes.
So get how he meets. And this is how they are starting to do stuff with the bee bird groups. And you're talking about if you want total privacy and it's not bugged, they go and this sounds like science fiction. This sounds like out of a movie. These super yacht submarines, they go to the bottom of the ocean floor and they have private meetings. This sounds like something out of a fictional movie, but that is literally, and they have taken, and the president and prime ministers, all of these people have been on these things. And here's another thing. These submarine companies have a deal with almost all the governments, whereas they get kind of a break on keeping their sales of these $2.5 billion, $1 billion. You're talking about enough money to live multiple lifetimes over and over and own a whole city. And they don't have to declassify who they're selling them to. So these things are so freaking confidential that nobody ever sees them. And if you do, it's like, some sort of miracle Loch Ness thing. You're talking about they can sit underwater.
Hey, Tuck Puck, this is Dex. Doesn't Ted Turner have like 100 plus acres right there? I mean, 100 plus 1,000 acres up there?
Yeah. So Ted Turner, that's interesting. My buddy Tyler's out there too, man. Tyler is texting me back and forth right now, but he knows about all this as well.
What's up, Tyler?
So Ted Turner's land, if you look at Highway 191, basically, it's the Gallatin Canyon, and I don't know the exact borders of where his land goes there, but he owns hundreds of thousands of acres for sure. But the biggest plat that he's got in that area starts right at Gallatin Gateway, just after that heading south towards Big Sky and West Yellowstone, and there's Spanish Creek there on the hand side when you get into the canyon, and he owns all the way over to I believe Norris on the other side. I mean, he owns a lot of land. It's and that whole Yellowstone Club thing, man. It's crazy up there. But that's besides the point. I think I'm going to be, and I'll just kind of end my piece with this, is I'm going to be traveling from Michigan to Minnesota. I'm moving over there for this summer. And, I didn't really think much about it until I had already made the plan to go. Here, my buddy Tyler just texted me. He said, Ted Turner owns land almost halfway to Helena.
2 million acres.
I didn't know that.
2 million acres. He is number two of who owns the most land, and John Malone just surpassed him with 2.2 million acres. These are the guys that get invited to the bee-bird groups. These are the people that secretly run the world. Pretty nuts. Well,
16-mile creek too. Anyways, so I'm going to be traveling. I'll let you guys know how that goes because I'm moving from state to state, and the two states I'm leaving from and going to are not the states on my license plate. So that should be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of all of this, man, because it's not getting any more normal. I mean, it's just getting crazier. But it's kind of like I'm not I'm not surprised. Like I kind of expect this. And it's like I said the last time, thinking about the stuff that people say we're crazy for and kind of having a prepared mind for it more than anything is like, oh, all right, well, you just kind of shrug it off. I wonder, like, one of my questions to everyone, and even myself, and my buddy and I talk about this a lot too, is like, what are we looking at? Like, we can talk about all these things and see these changes and then kind of call out parts and pieces of what's legitimate and be researching on stuff. And then it comes true, there's no doubt about that. Because if we dig deep enough, we find the information. But I think it's like, my friend and I were talking, and it's kind of like a math equation, and we can keep putting factors in it, and like one factor will make sense and weigh into another one, but there's still an empty equal sign. And so it's like, what is the goal? What we've been picking on, me and my friend, is what is the goal of all of this with the distancing, the sheltering in place? Michigan's going off again. I got people who are just tearing each other apart because it's right, it's wrong, we're going to go for longer. It's like, you know what, dude, I'm driving wherever I want. I'm doing whatever I want. They're not going to take that from me, and I'm not going to cause problems for other people. So, and I'm not going to sit on Facebook and yell at people about it. So what's the bigger goal here? Are we, is our government trying to do something? Our hospitals aren't overwhelmed. So are we doing a soft MLAW situation? Are we waiting for a VC, or are we trying to get herd sort of immunity? And at this point, what does, and this is directly from my friend, he sent me this in a text. He said, what does lowering the infection rate at the loss of our livelihoods actually gain us as a country and a nation?
Well, this is probably not that. We are about 15 minutes over time, so I just wanted to give you a chance to finish up your statement. And trust me, I think this is probably a good show for us to do over on the other one. So, but yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Cool. No, I'm good, man. I talk too much.
No, that's okay. Tuck Pup, trust me. In fact, we should. I like talking to you, and by the way, I usually keep people on that I like, and people go, 5 minute this. There is no 5 minute limit anymore. I mean, really, nobody's 5 minutes. But I also give extra time to people I am intrigued by, because it's my show. I can kind of do that. Well, thank you, Tuck Pup, and I appreciate you. And Tyler, what's going on? I love you guys. Thank you for both watching, and thank you for turning Tyler on to us. Again, that's how most people end up here. They end up getting suggested by somebody else. So, no, I get what you're saying. The economy, you're making an argument that is very hot on the heels of everything that's going on right now. It's very controversial. I appreciate you, Tuck Pup, and please call in again, okay?
All right, man, will do. Thank you, Marv. Thanks, Tex. Love you guys. Take care.
All right, you too. No, Tuck Pup's got a lot of great points there. I just realized that I can't believe we're almost at 3 hours. Holy moly. Herd Bull, we've got you on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Hey, Adam. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing fine, thanks. Just a couple quick updates. Won't take much time at all. In support of T-Pup's idea about moving around the country and not stressing things, I back that. Took my family over to the Oregon coast to the beach house for a couple days to work from home, quote unquote, this week. And while the signs on the 101 say beach towns are closed, some people are flipping out when you get near them, and other people are glad to talk to another human being. So, I encourage people who are not sick and sure they're well and able to handle social situations to start to move around a little bit. You know what I mean? It's about time to test the waters a little bit. And, again, if you're well and you've been quarantining and staying safe or whatever, nobody knows what's going on here for sure. The other thing that I mentioned to Dex, and great to talk to him again, is that I contacted Ben over at EMP Shield today and had a conversation about my needs for a vehicle and for my home. And using the code MARF and also an extra 10. Boy, they're just a great company. If you have questions and if you're like I was and you weren't sure what you need or what might work for you, just give them a call. They're right there, and
they're people.
That was a terrific experience.
They're
sure.
They're actual people that will end up talking. You know what's crazy about what you just said is that we had our furnace guy do an annual furnace checkup because we have a really old furnace here, and we ended up talking. I won't say the company because he'll probably get in trouble. We ended up talking for an hour and a half, and I think it's because people have not talked to anybody. And when you do end up getting in a conversation, what I've noticed too is the people at the coffee stand, there's a drive-through coffee stand still. You'll see every car is taking 15, 20 minutes, and it's because everybody is eager to talk to another human being. And I just thought it was funny. But
yeah,
exactly what you're saying. But the guys over there are awesome.
No, the EMP Shield thing, folks, everyone out there listening, I mean, maybe you call and you don't buy one, but the deals, supporting Marf's channel and Dex, and also the deals are legit for sure. They're deeper than you would think. And I did buy 2 pieces, but again, getting out there, I talked to a lady today when I went grocery shopping for my family. I mean, just be kind to people, everybody has moments. We all have days where we're not in a great mood, but honestly, bigger things are afoot, and don't be scared to get out there and say hello to people and talk to people when you're out. I mean, the last thing we want to do is stop talking to each other. I mean, these conversations that you have on the live streams, the conversations you have with people that you're out and about with, it was terrific to drive from the Cascades all the way over through the Coast Range to the coast. Nobody on the road, which my wife was like, "Oh, you're having a great time, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, nobody's over here." I enjoy that. That's part of my problem being, in my mid 40s, that I'm over people. But I still really care and love Americans and my neighbors and people. We've got to be here for each other, folks. And I appreciate your connection with EMP Shield. I appreciate you guys again, and just wanted to give a quick call in at the end here, I guess, and mention that, brother.
Well, thank you so much, man. It's really nice to have you, Herdball, and thank you for supporting us, and thank you for supporting them. Again, they make all their stuff from local, so it's really nice to hear when you guys understand that we did this before we partnered up with them. I just hope that people understand that this is something that I've asked people to go around us and to go to somebody else for, because I believe it will, in the case of, and I believe, it's my personal opinion that if it's not a big one, it will be a smaller one. I think it's a matter of when, not if, when something like that will happen. So I believe it will save lives as far as saving generators and saving cars. That will save transportation. So thank you so much, Herdbull, and I appreciate you calling in.
Sure, brother. And the other thing is too, it just helps you sleep better at night, and that means a lot in these kind of times for sure. Sleeping better.
Exactly. Well, have a great night, Herdbull. Nice talking to you, and can't wait to talk to you again. Okay.
You too. Thanks. Good night.
All right. Up next, we have, rolling off of a lot of the points like Tuck Pup and Herdbull. It's I start to realize I really start to know all of my audience, and this really is a pretty close-knit family. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, the people that are here. Patrick Bowers, last I checked, NASA loves aluminum foil for everything. Carmen is here. I love to listen to the waves. It's funny is I have that app. It's called, I have that app called Calm, and I literally listen to the waves or rain on a window to go to sleep every night. Actually works really well. Okay, so now we have, I can't believe I lost track of time there. It's nuts. Barbara, you are live on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How are you doing?
Okay, well, I'm in Maine, so depending on if it's cloudy, never know if you can get through.
Perfect. So it says that you wanted to talk about Maine restaurateur. You're vowing to open Friday in defiance of the lockdown. Is that right?
There was a restaurant that is a Sunday River Brewing pub where there's a Sunday River skiing. At the bottom of that is a very popular brewing pub. And they vowed to open today because our governor said that they were going to open everything up today. And so they did. And we decided to support that, my husband and I. And when we got there, they said we're going to open at 4. So we left. It takes us 45 minutes to get there. We left to get there. And when we got there, there was a line around the building. And apparently they had opened at noon because everybody had been lined up since then.
Wow. So they didn't care about any of the rules. They just said, screw it, we're opening. Is that what they did?
He tried. So he went on Tucker Carlson last night, and he tried getting a hold of our governor, Janet Mills. No answer. He tried getting a hold of Republicans, Democrats. Nobody would return his phone calls. So he pretty much said, and I think he probably was in touch with his lawyers, but he pretty much said, we shouldn't have even been shut down. We're going to go ahead and open. And they did. They opened today, and they had such support. Oh, my gosh. We stood in line for 2.5 hours, and I've never done a protest in my life. This was not a protest, but it was unbelievable. And everybody was calm. So it must have been all Republicans because we all were like, nobody wore masks. Nobody had social distance. And it was just amazing. Everybody beat their horns driving by. The tractor trailers blew their horns driving by. Sheriffs drove by. No problem. It was unbelievable.
So let me read this quote from the Maine restaurateur. And again, these are people that they helped others. It says, quote, the stay-at-home order originally stated May 1st as an expiration date, and we were gearing up for that, Rick Savage said. It says, we did what we were supposed to do. We closed for 6 weeks, cooked for the community, went right through the whole restaurant, and remodeled and cleaned it. It's time to open back up. And that's what their claim was. And it says they regularly seat up to 250 people and is large enough to accommodate the new social distancing standards. It says, I could fit people in a 6-foot space everywhere and open back up for business. He said, if people feel comfortable coming in, come in. If they don't feel comfortable, call us and we'll deliver it to your car. If you want to sit out on the deck, sit out on the deck. So, and again, you had about 1,000 cases there in Maine, they said. And so what ended up happening is they reopened. See, the same thing kind of happened here is we have May 4th as the reopen date. Well, they just told us it's going to go until the end of May. So another 4 weeks. We're talking about 3 months of just nothing.
So that's what happened in this state. So they extended to the May 31st. And Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont are working together. So New Hampshire just came out today saying, oh, it's going to be May 31st. But the problem is there's not as many cases up here, but yet they keep putting all these restrictions on us.
Yeah, I understand. It's a very controversial topic. It's a really hard thing for people to understand, which way to go. And I'm sure people that it triggers some people. I'm sure that you guys went in with no masks and this and that, and then it also makes people proud that you did the same thing at the same time. It's very divided no matter what angle you really choose to do that. But as far as the restaurateur, he is actually going with his rights. You have to understand that they are actually kind of bending the Constitution to tell businesses that they have to shut down. That's just a technicality. I mean, they literally are.
Maine is a vacation state, so they have told everybody all the lobstermen and everybody that we're not doing your lobster festival and we're not doing this and that because they don't like close contact. But they're killing the tourism. And that's what the thing is. And with our governor, Janet Mills, she took early on, she had a bill signed that gave her like sovereignty over the state. And the Democrats signed that and they had majority. And so now she doesn't meet with the Republicans and the Democrats. She just does everything on her own. So it's like killing our state.
Well, again, we're not here to pick left or right or anything else, but we are here to share what is going on. So they ended up opening that back up. And,
I get that. I was just wanting to say that, we stood in line for 2.5 hours at this restaurant. They were supposed to open at 4. We got there at 4:30, and we had, we stood in line for 2.5 hours. They said they opened at noon because there was already a line formed. And so by the time we got in, there was still probably a 2-hour line behind us. And when we got in, the food was amazing. They had 6 feet between tables. They had blue tape between the tables. So they marked off tables, and they had the tables wiped down. They had the menus wiped down. It was incredible. The food was awesome.
That's what's so cool.
There was still a line.
He was following the rules.
We got home probably about 8 o'clock, and shortly after that, we found out through Facebook that they shut the restaurant down. At the time, the police had come in and said at some point during the day they were taking all their licenses. So 3 licenses, liquor, I don't even know what the other 2 were, cooking, and I don't know what other. But so they would get $1,000 fine per license. So they were going to get a $3,000 fine per day. And he said, stack them up. And he was going to fight it. And there's a GoFundMe for Maine, and they're going to fight this. So they were trying to get businesses to open up in Maine. And when we came home, somebody had said they shut them down, and we tried to find out information, and we have no idea what happened. But we got to eat there, and it was awesome. Everybody was great. It was
and
like
they would have found
together.
And they would have fined you $1,000 for sitting there.
No, they didn't fine us. They were going to fine him because they took his licenses. They took all 3 of his licenses, a liquor license, and I don't know what the other 2 licenses, but every license he had, they took them before we were even there, and they were going to fine him every day he was open. But by the time we got home tonight, they closed them down, and there was a Facebook on there saying, sorry, we have to close.
Oh, that's going to make national news. You are just a part of history. Wow, that's incredible. I see. I didn't know.
That's why I'm calling, because I have tried to call you before.
They were social
distancing.
distancing.
Things, but I'm like, tonight I was part of that, and I was proud to be part of that.
So
my kids probably don't think that. Like, some of my kids are like, why did you even go there? I'm like, she's like, why didn't you just do takeout? I'm like, it's not about that. It's about we need to end this.
Okay. Well, you have your view there, and then again, it does change things a little bit that they were properly social distancing. They were keeping everybody separated. I get it. Well, thank you so much, Barbara, for calling in.
In the bathrooms, they closed one of the bathrooms. So you couldn't use the men's bathroom, and it was only the women's bathroom you could use, and it was 1 per person, and they checked it each time. So they did everything they were supposed to.
Wow. And lost all of their licenses. That's pretty incredible. Pretty harsh. I guess
he
they're
lost
making
all of his licenses by 3:30. We were in line at 4:30. He was still continuing.
Wow. That's he's going all out. Maybe, Tucker Carlson's definitely going to follow up. I get you. Well, thank you, Barbara, for calling in. I appreciate you, and you have a wonderful night. All right. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Tucker Carlson needs to take note. They could give Barbara a call and get her statement on that. That is absolutely nuts. So she was part of something that was national. I mean, that's going to turn into national. Since that gentleman was on Tucker Carlson, that is part of history there. Dex, obviously, that's a very fired debate there. And you know, we try to stay as neutral as possible, but it's hard not to kind of get all pumped up for just people literally saying, stack them up, 3,000, 3,000, 25,000, 80,000. I'm staying open. Probably he's got his flag flying high out in front. I mean, it's kind of hard not to get behind.
Yeah,
something.
it is exciting to see what's happening, and it's also, you know,
scary.
It's scary too, because you got to look at both sides. But it's, you know, I applaud those that are doing the right thing and trying to, you know, make sure that they're putting health and safety first, and following the guidelines and doing what they're supposed to do, right? And,
well, that's the thing.
Let's not punish them.
There's no limits. There's no limits in the grocery store. People are going in tight aisles, sitting in aisles next to each other. This is what I don't get. Is you're in the grocery store and there's hundreds. I mean, it's way more. And even if they limit the number, people are going out. Nobody's wearing masks. Everybody's walking around. But then that ma and pa restaurant down the street, they can't open, even if it's a gigantic restaurant, which again probably adds up to gigantic rent. They can't even open up, even if they follow to the T. They're literally cleaning the bathroom after each use. They're separating everything by 6 feet, having blue lines taped on the floor. Everything was set up so he could actually open and pay his employees. Because again, we talked about what happened with this. The employment package or whatever, after the certain day, it's going to screw up some of those businesses in the middle, because it's going to come out of their pocket if they continue paying in unemployment. If they say that they're able to open, that's with Georgia and all of them.
Yeah.
But with this, it's a little bit different. They could continue. But again, he's going to stand up.
I mean, like you said, the grocery store, right? You go in the grocery store. It's not just walking down the aisle or walking down the aisle the wrong way, which a lot of people do, even though they put these arrows trying to keep people flowing a certain direction. All the people are pausing and they're looking at the products they want to buy. They're breathing.
Oh, we don't have
air
that.
In and out. It's
we don't
going
have any
on
of
those
that.
products. They're touching them. They're looking at them. Oh, that's not the one I want. They put it back, right? And we're all that. The grocery store is probably worse than anything else, because if you went into a restaurant, you're sitting at your table. You're not necessarily, engaging with the table, right? You're not necessarily sitting in group tables. I mean, some restaurants do that, but they'll have to get rid of that, right? So, yeah, it's really frustrating.
Sorry about that, guys. I probably scared you and everybody else. An audio started playing, and I'm going to need some new ruse. Okay, so it looks like it dropped severely after our downplay. So we've got about 2,000 still on D-Live here. I appreciate you coming on, and of course, I was looking to see if there was any of these folks on here. We usually host a random person, so most likely we're just going to pick a random person. So if whoever is on after the shoutro is on there offends you, then just please tune out. All you have to do is turn off the D-Live. Otherwise, on YouTube, I thank you guys. I'm going to shout you all out. I appreciate each and every one of you. And, of course, now it is time for the shoutro. It's not a shout-out. It's not an outro. It's a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to the people that matter most. You. If you're in the chat on any platform, I'm going to end up calling you out. Straight to your face. Have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. Oh, by the way, forgot to tell you. Sorry about that. I ended up some sort of technical glitch. Had a 45-minute stream at 5 in the morning. And sorry for anybody who got woken up and said, "Oh, Marf is on," and I wasn't on. Anyways, I'm going to shout out all of the folks that have been hitting this up. Yes, I've got to get it on here though. I'm going to pull up YouTube. I'm going to hit all of the super chats that I missed, and we're going to have a fun time. Foogle each and every one of you here tonight. You guys are absolutely amazing. And to say thank you, Herdball says, Jesus is the answer, fam. Jobless. And then, of course, we've got Chris Sari, 76, Cutthroat Mom, the girl with the brown eyes, Rachel Lime, thank you for the lemon. Tuck Pup, Teacher Tildenwell, Crosby, Stills, Nash Young, thank you well. And Aussie's Walkabout, Renegade Petey, I appreciate you. I'm not being needy. Tuck Pup, if we ditch politics and work together, red or blue doesn't help. We need to rally together. Much love and much help. Chips are falling and the nameless block. There is your nightly cowbell. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Marfoogle News, where are you? Only news I use. Marfoogle News. I'm going back around, throwing her out there on it now. I've got the friends that got them now. We on the S in the dumber job, not too big like I never talk. Gonna go back like I always walk, and gonna go try like never go. With that chat with the rock for life, and that we both turn that's right. Gonna bring it back like Sylvie and I. You're going my man, don't say hi. Oh, you've got to go. Oh, you've got to go and oh. You've got to go and you've got to come in his hair done, girl, and yabba dabba sexy. Gonna walk back like D-bomb in the WS. Red flag and red vest and a checker wall in the CJ. And that Jean Blythe and the bad lover. Gonna go back like a JoJo. Hey, what's up, homegrown and the rest of Marjorie 74 with the great go-to when that Miss Gas Electric. I'm bringing it back like you never go back, and it always gonna be hectic. Johnny Doom, hey, St. Greg and the gang. Gonna bring it back down and the bang on the window, and I go and tang. Here's what I drink when I've got no Kool-Aid. I'm gonna go back drinking and hit that red pill. Gonna go back and I love them Beagles. Gonna go back with the big gun. Gonna grab it like I never go back. Penelope gonna go back down. You about to do it like you never heard the sound. And the race line gonna back down like you never found. Everybody now check a while. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window.
What the heck? Whoa! Stop the microphone. What in the world is all of this?
What's up with the echo? Karma is here. Cutthroat Mom. Gas Electric. Priscilla, you are the top contributor for the show. Tuck Pup is number 2. Vigor 92. And of course, Amy R. Minnie is actually the real McCoy. Thank you guys for all of your support. Now, may I just say, Kelly2334, Sly the Coffee, Kasha, Fly Girl, CM Parker, I appreciate you. With that being said, we're gonna kick it up a notch. Kicking up a notch with the rock for life. Going right back like an indoor way of life. And a world to go back and I'll light that light. With the new kingdom, Tiger Lily and the rest. With the JoJo, gotta bring it up and now I rest. With the yabba dabba sexy and a stamp of love. I'll bring it right back like I'm up from above. And the daddy gotta be with the rest of me. And that just the cat mama gotta go see. Gotta go see Dreamland with the Blue Daisy, Candy 44, and the rest of you know that you've got that West 72, M. Ching and Guy 42. Bring it back, calm down, it's just me. I'm gonna go back like a West Smith. Oh. Too slow.
I like the way it plays you more and later your way in. I learned a straight and that's when Steven's bad, yo. I'm like a rebel yell and the red 1967. Gonna bring another rebel back to the love that to go back down. Twisted patch, sample stars, and all the rest. Place come 78 and the high skis. Gonna bring it back and now I'm on my knees. Saying I'm better to the middle more than I'll say. Just believe I've got to say exactly. Have it ain't easy. I'm bringing it out easy. Gotta go back easy. And I'm talking when the do. At the one to the Owen Saddle Jammer, a Blue Daisy and Robin 119. I love Beagles and the Roxy lives kicking it. And that a Blue Daisy has got the steam at the end. Ray Jr. and the Hesselbar and nameless block now. Going with the random speed and I'm all a random atom. I'm gonna go and the Beagles and the Manatee. I'll bring it back around and then send it by your team.
let's start over. Let's do one little first one. Let's just start one. Let's make this one for Amy R. Slow it down. As I walk it down and go back, back. As I walk it down and go back, back. Ooh, a little loud there, don't you think? It up, down. Coming up and down, going up, down.
I was walking down the mountain with my friends. Never did I sin. Although I've tried with my Betty, never did a friend with a backpack down in your nose. Got the glow wire with the rickshaw up right now. Yabba dabba sexy, I'm never doing that for you. Have a good night. Have a good night. You can hear my mouse. Remember now, we're going to be hosting somebody random over on D-Live. So, eeny, miny, meeny, moe.